All right, friends, it's T-Man. We are back with a new video on our good friend, the Bati boy himself, Jason Blaha, the gym, lifting, recruiting, gear, fitness slave. Yes, man. We're going to do a reaction video to Jason Blaha's video. Blaha says, #1 tip for gaining lean muscle without fat. Okay. This is going to be great, man.
What is the #1 tip for gaining lean muscle without fat gain? Hey, everybody,
It's really easy. Lean muscle, the only muscle you ever built is in the beginning when you first went into the gym, and then your body adapted. That's what it did. It adapted by protecting itself from any more damage so that it doesn't repair and remodel any more muscle, because it repaired and remodeled stronger, so it's resilient from further assaults. Man, really, people don't understand bodybuilding whatsoever, but it's based on adaptations. Okay, it's based on an adaptation principle, but whatever. So gaining fat, gaining that muscle, why would you gain fat? If you're eating your natural diet as a human, if you eat natural food as a human, why would you get fat?
We'll chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And really what I'm going to give you is the easiest tip, and then I'm going to explain it because it's not going to be what a lot of people think it is. A lot of times people are like, well, just keep your calorie surplus really small. And yes, that can work, but that's actually more work. That is more work, and therefore it's not the simplest tip to get the same end result. The simplest tip, are you guys ready for it?
Yeah.
Just keep your dietary fat.
I'm ready for it.
Extremely ridiculously low. Okay?
Keep your fat extremely ridiculously low. Well, a lot of people are out there what you would call ectomorphs. They have low body fat, yes.
And a lot of people are going to say that won't work. It's calories in, calories out. No, it absolutely will work. It's based upon the data. It's based upon biology, and it's based upon...
What will work? What's he talking about? You're going to gain muscle out of thin air because you're lean? It's going to magically give you muscle? You're going to tell your body, look, body, I have thin muscle. I have low body fat now. You're going to build me some muscle? No.
How we know the human body works. All right, the thing to keep in mind with that is that it's not changing calories in versus calories out. It's not cheating.
This pan is a game changer.
That it's not changing calories in versus calories out. It's not cheating it. It's not breaking it. The simple fact of the matter is that humans do not store carbohydrates to any appreciable degree as body.
Yes, they do. They store carbohydrates. They store in the form of glycogen. What's he talking about? For every gram of glycogen, 3 grams of water drawn between skin and muscle into the muscle. You are storing glycogen in those muscles in the sarcoplasm.
Fat, and if we do, it is never under the skin. Like no study that is measured.
Well, I agree. It's not under the skin, but it's in the muscle.
Where it's stored has ever found, to my knowledge, at least modern studies using the best modern equipment, to have ever found a carbohydrate to perform de novo lipogenesis under your skin. So any small amount...
Yeah, but he said it doesn't store in your muscle either, and it does store in your muscle because, hey, man. Yeah, just look it up.
According to MyProtein Canada, sarcoplasm is the fluid surrounding the myofibrils in your muscles. It contains ATP, glycogen, creatine phosphate, and water. Sarcoplasmic hypertrophy occurs when the volume of sarcoplasmic fluid in your muscle cells increases.
See, so I don't really know what Blaha's talking about, man. It's glycogen. They even tell you that in other reports. Okay, so...
According to Nuvo Vivo, sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is a kind of artificial muscle growth wherein muscles increase its size visually by increasing the amount of fluid it can hold, but is not increasing the density of the muscle's fibers.
Yeah, it really does exist. People gotta say, well, it doesn't exist, man. There's no such thing as sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Well, they've done lots of stuff in NCBI on sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Yeah. One such study is here, right there. See that? 6 weeks of high volume resistance training is largely attributed to what? Sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Well, they tell you what that is down there. They tell you it's glycogen. When you scroll down here, it'll tell you right there. Sarcoplasmic protein, sarcoplasmic protein, mitochondrial, and glycogen concentrations were altered in individuals. The glycogen concentrations were altered because they increased. That's what happened. Don't believe what Blaha says. You know, you have to learn on your own. You can build phony muscles. It's not hard to build fake muscles and pretend they're muscles. They're not muscles.
Amount of fats that you gain, and it will be small.
You go, but I got stronger lifting a heavy weight. But that's not based on that. You have to practice at keeping that strength, because it's based on chemical strength. You go, but I gained muscle. I got bigger. Now you got bigger, but you just got a bunch of sarcoplasmic fluid. You didn't build any muscle, so that's why you have to be a lifting slave the rest of your life in that gym, because it's not based on the muscles that you built, because you didn't build any. If you built muscles, then you wouldn't have to practice at lifting that weight, because there would be motor units and androgen receptors already in those new myofibrillars.
Dietary carbohydrates won't even be visible. You won't see it because it will be small amounts, a few grams here and there around your organs. All right, so keep that in mind for context.
Sure.
Right? Dietary fat is what you store under your skin.
Dietary fat is what you store under your skin. Dietary fat. Yeah, triglyceride. Okay, whatever.
Overwhelming amount of data suggests that this is the case. So that being said, people say, well, what about calories in, calories out there? Where do the calories go? You literally burn it off as heat. And the thing to think about when we look in terms of anabolic effect.
So then why are you eating calories if you have to keep burning them off? Why don't you just eat your natural diet and stop eating junk food? These fake man-made junk foods. Fruits and vegetables and processed foods.
Carbohydrates are anabolic to muscle tissue. Okay, they're anabolic to muscle tissue.
Carbohydrates are anabolic to muscle tissue. Well, what happens is it raises insulin when you, so complex carbohydrates, they don't spike insulin, there's an insulin release, but the simple carbs, they spike the insulin. Okay. It's aging you. It's aging you. It's doing it for a reason. Why is it spiking it? Okay, here's the thing. Why is it spiking it if you're eating carbohydrates? Because it's trying to remove the excess sugar in your system. The most your body can handle is 1 gram a day of sugar. There's so many grams. It's got to remove it. The insulin is there to remove it. Okay. He's saying, but you're going to be using it as something anabolic to grow muscle. But you can't grow any more muscle because it reached an MND size limit. So I don't know what the hell he's talking about. He's just aging himself. Every time you release these anabolic hormones, they're circulating in your system. If you're growing, you're aging. You're aging. He's aging, and he's not really growing. He's just aging. He's just growing old, is what he's growing from these so-called hormones being released. Yeah. Now I guess complex carbohydrates. Okay, so it just releases it a lot slower. It's the same thing, though. It's the same thing going on there, really. I'm not saying you can't use a complex carbohydrate when you're in an adaptation to try to help build muscle, to increase some of the sarcoplasm, the fluid, for the making up space for the myofibrillars, but you're not building anymore after that. After you reach the MND size limit. You understand me? The newbie gain limit.
The insulin response, all of these things, the IGF-1 production, everything as a result of it helps you.
IGF-1 is increased when you eat beef. Raises IGF-1. Let's go here.
According to Dr. Sarah Gottfried, animal protein raises IGF-1 more than other foods, but this doesn't mean meat is bad for you, or is as bad as smoking cigarettes, as some headlines have proclaimed.
There you go. They may be even associating that with something bad. I don't know why. Well, whatever. So there, IGF-1. Beef raises IGF-1. I don't know what he's talking about when he said that carbohydrates do that.
Build muscle, it helps you perform in the gym. Okay, it absolutely does.
But you're not building any muscle because it reached an MD size limit. Man, you're wasting your time.
People say, well, what about insulin
Everybody's
resistance?
wasting your
Well, we
time.
don't get insulin resistance from this.
Yeah, if you are getting insulin resistant, man, if it's carbohydrates, I mean simple carbs, it makes you insulin resistant. It's the complex ones that don't make you insulin resistant. But still, it's really hard to tell what's going on there.
Type of diet. That's kind of the point.
But does it really matter? He reached an M&D size limit decades ago. He has no muscles, okay? He never built any muscle. That's just some puffy sarcoplasmic puffy look in his muscles. They're puffy from pumping these weights, pumping the glycogen in the muscle.
Meaning, if you're eating whole food carbohydrates, not
Man, can you imagine there's so many people out there, so many lifting slaves that are just pumping glycogen in their muscle going to a gym? They don't build any muscle because it's based on an adaptation principle. It's not based on lifting weights consistently in gyms or garages forever and ever. Pumping glycogen in your muscle because you want to get better at lifting a heavy weight, okay?
bunch of refined sugars.
Yeah.
Whole foods, right? Even if they're can be mildly refined, great. Even white
And then he goes Whole Foods. Whole Foods aren't sugar, dude. They're animal products.
rice doesn't cause this issue. It's not a
Rice doesn't cause that issue. Rice does raise insulin. I don't know. Can it make you insulin resistant? It's a possibility. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know. It's got arsenic in it anyways. Why would you eat rice and lift weights? It's got arsenic in it. Look how aged he is. Look how he's doing such a fantastic job at aging himself, looking 85 already at 47.
associated with insulin resistance. So even though you're getting insulin response, it tends to be a healthy insulin response. It
He's so proud about aging himself. This is
tends to
crazy.
be very anabolic to your muscles. So what ends up happening as carbohydrate
They're anabolic to muscles, but there's nothing to build there because they're prevented from damaging. So there's nothing for the insulin to repair and remodel. There's nothing because there's no damage. And if there's no damage, there's nothing to repair and remodel bigger and stronger. There's no more adaptations. You've tapped out the very first time you went to the gym. Unless you could get that damage to come back somehow, you do something that you're an unaccustomed bout of some exercise. I don't know, but he's accustomed to all these exercises. So what do you get when you're accustomed? A zero.
goes up,
What do you get when you're unaccustomed? What's associated? What do you get when you're unaccustomed doing an unaccustomed bout of exercise? Unaccustomed exercise is known to cause what? Widespread muscle damage. Okay. What does accustomed people get? Nothing. They get worn out. They get old. Like him. There's nothing there. Look, I prove this too, man. I love laughing at these things because they're so funny. Hold on.
According to Frontiers, however, unaccustomed eccentric exercise is known to cause muscle damage and delayed pain, commonly defined as delayed onset muscular soreness, DOMS.
Yeah, and I don't know. If you go into this one, they tell you widespread muscle damage. That's what it's known for. Get it? It's known to cause. There it is. Right here, this one right here. See where it says there? It says muscle damage, inflammation after eccentric exercise can the repeated bout effect, whatever. Unaccustomed eccentric exercise is known to cause widespread muscle damage, an absolute norm in the eccentric exercise. It doesn't say accustomed exercise. See that? You understand me, man? This is funny, bro. Yeah, unaccustomed exercise consisting of eccentric lengthening muscle contractions often results in muscle damage, but not people that are reduced muscle strength and range of motion, increased muscle soreness and swelling. Now, if you're not getting that, then you're not getting anything else. You want to know what it's associated with, this muscle damage, unaccustomed exercise? Ultrastructural alterations in muscle tissue. Huh. Now, you want to know what he's doing there? What is associated with? It's associated with getting old. That's what it's associated with. People that are accustomed lifting their weights, they're getting old, they're aging like Blaha. Yeah, man. Anyway, let's go back there. This is funny stuff, man. People just don't know anything about bodybuilding. They're so dumb.
Thermic effect goes up, NEAT goes up, our metabolism goes up.
Sure, yeah.
Okay? Context.
Yeah.
As far as the other hormonal environment that people have to think about, all these people worry about testosterone and free testosterone.
Of course.
What does a higher carbohydrate diet do? Again, based upon biology, we actually know why this occurs, even from an evolutionary perspective.
Yes, what does a higher carbohydrate diet do if you are not damaging any more muscles and you're accustomed to lifting your weights? You have now become an endurance athlete. You understand me? So you are eating these carbs and they're loading in the muscle as a form of energy to keep you going. That's what he's doing. He's not building anything. I just read to you what builds muscles. Unaccustomed bouts of exercise, eccentric exercises.
Okay, so let that sink in. We actually know the reason why it occurs.
Yeah, we know the reason. Just let that sink in, people. Unaccustomed exercise. Let that sink in your little brain. Right there. See that? Unaccustomed exercise known to cause damage. See this right here? Unaccustomed exercise consisting of eccentric lengthening muscle contractions often result in muscle damage characterized by ultrastructural alterations in muscle tissue. What are these ultrastructural alterations in muscle tissue? Muscle growth, a repair and a remodeling. Get it, dude? And the symptoms here, the clinical symptoms and signs of you actually knowing that you did an unaccustomed eccentric exercise bout is what? Reduced muscle strength and range of motion, increased muscle soreness, and swelling, influx of, and then there's more stuff there because you have to type on this thing at the bottom and then they'll tell you the rest of all the other symptoms that come with it. Okay, dude? It's really simple, man. Doesn't take a genius to figure that out. You know? There's a lot of people wasting their time out there lifting slaves, bro.
Like why it was in our best interest as a species. Higher carbohydrate diets and an insulin response corresponding to it lowers SHBG. Okay, for those who don't understand, SHBG is serum hormone binding globulin. That is what binds to your testosterone and makes it inactive. So in other words, higher carbohydrate.
No, it doesn't. It causes glycation. Here's the problem with carbohydrates. They convert to sugar. They glycate. They bind with your proteins. They cause something called glycation. They destroy your joints. You could lose height. They destroy your spine. Anything in your body when it comes to collagen and stuff. And your joints and stuff, the cartilage. It destroys cartilage, it destroys your joints, it destroys collagen, your skin, and it's irreversible actually. Believe it or not, the damage that's caused by glycation, eating sugar, and then lifting weights, it's irreversible. It's irreversible. Apparently, I don't know, according to science. I don't know, maybe some things can be retrievable. It's really hard to say. I wouldn't take the chance. I stopped already at a certain age. In my 50s, I'm done with that. I'm not doing any more carbs, nothing. None of these carbohydrates, sugars, nothing. I'm not saying you may be able to get away with something, maybe 5%, but 95% of your diet should be your natural human diet.
Diets are associated potentially with higher levels of free testosterone. Okay? So all these anabolic hormones are...
Yeah, no, you're just raising your hormones by lifting weights. And then they crash. And then you raise and crash. That's why you're always depressed and feeling bad.
Cascade of anabolic hormones that we want for building muscle. Okay?
You don't need them to build muscle because you're not building any muscle. You're accustomed to doing these exercises now. You're wasting your time.
lean muscle tissue are enhanced by higher carbohydrate diets and protein to
They're not enhanced. They're not anything if there's no adaptation there.
a lesser extent. Although keeping in mind at a certain point, ultra high protein makes you just start losing body fat. You don't gain more muscle per se. So
Ultra high protein diet, your natural human diet, eating protein, yes. Why do you lose body fat? Because it's a high nutrient diet. Meat is filled with nutrients, and so your body doesn't see itself as starving. Well, he's talking about low body fat. You wouldn't have body fat to begin with. You'd be a normal human being. You get fat. How? Why do you get fat? Because that's where all those anabolic hormones are going, to make you fat on your bulk diets. Get it, man? That has nothing to do with building muscles.
but wouldn't the same logic holds true if your dietary fat is kept extremely low, you can overfeed protein or carbohydrate.
Look, man, you can't do sessions of this sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. You being accustomed to your exercises. The only time that I would ever eat a complex carb, let's say potatoes, and I mean ever, is only in a damaging session. I'm never going to do it like if I'm like him, just going to the gym or doing some exercise or whatever. I'm not eating any carbs, man. Forget that. I'll eat animal fat, but not carbs. But if I was to do a damaging session, yeah, I'd probably add in some potatoes. But I'd have to do it very sparingly, and it'd have to be at night, probably before I go to sleep. It has to be very specific.
And not gain body fat. Okay, so we need to be clear on that. It's just that again, there's going to be slightly different pathways involved in terms of anabolism, fat burning, things like that. So either way you go,
Anabolism, burning fat. Anabolism is somebody associated with positive nitrogen balance. That's anabolism.
if dietary fat is kept extremely low, insulin sensitivity stays high, anabolic hormones stay high, right? Food stays high, energy.
Yeah, they'll stay high if you're on your natural diet. But if you're eating all these junk foods, these man-made junk foods, engineered foods, then no, they're not.
Stays high, metabolism stays high. In fact, so much so that you'll find many hard gainers literally can't even gain weight anymore once they do these type of.
There's no such thing as a hard gainer, man. This is just baloney. They're blaming it. They're just making excuses why they can't build any more muscle because they reached an M&D size limit. That's it.
Bias because it becomes an appetite issue versus the energy output. Their metabolism tends to go up too much. So just an FYI, for some people this can be a problem, but hard gainers don't struggle with lean gains per se. Okay. All right. So the question then becomes, what starts happening? Why does it not violate calories in and calories out? Because we burn more calories. In other words, if right now you took whatever you were eating, let's say we took all the foods that you've eaten for the last 72 hours, if you were at maintenance calories right now, okay, whatever, let's say it's 3,000 calories and you've been eating food XYZ, and we were to take that and make you replicate that exact same food choices, so again, it could be whatever you ate for the last week, you know, on the exact same days every week, and we were to come in and add,
Oh, yeah.
and assume you were right at maintenance. If we were to add 1,000 calories of protein for one group of people, 1,000 calories of carbs for another, 1,000 calories of fat for another, their energy output would all be different in all three groups.
Oh, yeah.
Massively different. In fact, the fat group, their energy output might not even go up significantly. It might go up a small amount. Protein will go way up. In fact, their maintenance calories might go up by as much as 1,000. Their 3,000 calorie turnover might turn into 4. All right, the carbohydrate's going to go up significantly. All right, we burn these things off as heat.
That's what he's doing. He's eating a slave diet, a fake diet, an artificial diet. And then he's burning them in the gym. That's all he's doing. He goes into this garage, in his little garage gym, and he's burning these artificial foods that he eats. That's it. That's all he's doing, over and over and over again, for no other reason than to lift to eat garbage, lift weights to burn garbage off. Garbage in, garbage off. This is crazy.
We burn them off as
You know how many people are actually doing this? Like, they're actually doing this. Like, there's so many people, all these gyms. And I just laugh at people. I hardly ever go to gyms because I only ever go there if it's a unaccustomed bout. But like these people, they're just gym lifting slaves. They're always there and they're just like doing nothing. They look nothing. They think they look special. They don't. Some get really fat. They just get really, really, really fat and they think they have muscles. They're big or walking around really fat or whatever. You could tell when you look at them. And then there's people like Blaha. They're just like, eating garbage all day and lifting. I got to go eat garbage, my garbage food, and now I got to burn it off. I got to go to the gym. Well, if you didn't eat any garbage, you stayed on your natural diet as a human being, you wouldn't have to go to a gym and burn it off. Now, if you want to build muscle, well, that's a different story. See what I mean? That's based on an adaptation. That's not based on burning calories or burning heat or whatever the hell he's talking about here, or lifting slave.
we need, we become more active, more hyperactive, physically active, we fidget more, we move more.
Yeah.
Our thyroid hormone upregulates.
Sure.
So all of these different pathways kick in, and what happens when we overfeed a lot of these foods, that our actual calories out start going up to compensate.
Sure.
And if you exercise and work out, particularly, like you train hard, this is going to go up significantly. It's going to be enormous. So again, it contributes to only lean gains in this regard. And keeping in mind, people say, well, if it's making me eat all this extra food, but the corresponding response is more lean growth, because these foods will feed various anabolic hormones, recovery, everything else from training. It will create an environment to where gaining muscle becomes easier and more efficient through multiple pathways without contributing to body fat gain. That is why this is the one simple, easy tip. All right, guys, but that's really...
Yeah, I mean, you could eat complex carbohydrates. Will they make you fat? No. They will wash out your physique, kind of, but they won't make you fat. Depends how much you're eating. I don't know. Depends what you're doing there. But yeah, you could keep lifting. Okay, eat carbs and keep lifting all day. So you can prevent it from you getting fat and whatever, burning calories or burning these fake junk foods off. I don't know. I don't understand this guy. I have no clue what he's talking about. Bro, I don't know. I don't understand anything Blaha does here. None of this makes sense, man. I'm going to eat garbage and then I'm gonna go lift weights in the gym or whatever, in the garage forever so I can eat more garbage. And then it reflects on my physique and my face and my head and my body. I'm suffering from sarcopenia and I've aged myself 30 years. I look 85 instead of 47. Okay, that's great. Yeah. Whatever, man. This is ridiculous.
All I have to say on that today. I hope it's been...
Thank God. It was uninformative. I'll see you in the next video. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. See you in the next one, man. I just really don't understand anything that this person is doing or anybody out there. Whatever anybody else is out there doing in gyms, man. All you people have everything backwards when it comes to bodybuilding. You don't understand. You don't have a clue what bodybuilding is about.